boppity boopity boopity boppity boop. And we're good. Hi, welcome everybody. Greetings. Welcome to Legacies of Kain, a Vampire the Masquerade show. If you're joining us for the first time, you've missed a lot. I'm gonna be honest with you. Go back and watch some of the old stuff on YouTube first. But if you just want to have like a little bit of a fun adventure, come ahead and join us, because this will be fun. It always is fun. It's crazy and fun. But yes, so last week, a few weeks ago, our team was scattered to the four winds of the globe. Nathan and Samuel ended up in Vietnam. Emil ended up in the middle of the outback. Leslie ended up somewhere in Madagascar. And Dawn and Ryan ended up in Brazil, in particular in Buenos Aires.
Rio de Janeiro.
Sorry, I keep doing that. I keep giving the wrong one. You're right.
Buenos Aires in Argentina, I believe.
I keep doing that too. You're correct. There might be a Buenos Aires in Brazil, but it certainly is Argentinian. Wow. I don't know how many times I'm going to make that mistake. But anyway. So, Nathan and Samuel managed to get through to Vietnam, arrange for, through some government convincing, to get a plane ride back to New York, to get out of the Vietnamese lockdown, as it is. Because it is, their time frame is last year, March area. That's how you have to think about their time frame for how things are going on in the world. Emil wandered through the outback, got some help from some wallabies, ate some wallabies, found
different wallabies than the ones that helped.
Just to specify, yes. Thanks for the help. No. You left those alive. You ate different ones. Managed to get to a small town in the middle of nowhere, get to the coast eventually, and get on a yacht, which was arranged by Nathan. Earlier, though, Leslie had also managed to get on this yacht after kind of wandering through Madagascar, finding some level of civilization, either running incredibly fast or stealing a car, doesn't really matter, one of those things occurred. Managed to get on said yacht also, and so they took yacht-based adventures for weeks to get back to New York. In the meantime, Nathan and Samuel, you're getting back into New York. New York City. You're back home again. You do know that Leslie and Emil, you've taken care of them. They're going to be getting home. It's going to be probably a while before you see them. A while.
Yeah.
They're on that boat for probably the combined travel time. It's probably going to be at least 2 or 3 weeks before they're back.
Okay. And what did Ryan find out from Great Lord Cockroach?
He will have messaged you that the Great Lord Cockroach knows nothing about human gangsters. He will also preface it with the Great Lord Cockroach said something about humans are weird. They think I'm strange. Ha 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 ha. Good luck. Try not getting involved with them, or asking Nathan for more help.
Thank the Great Lord Cockroach.
He's really a good guy, you know?
He's a cockroach. I mean, he's going to act like a cockroach. He's like, look, people treat him like a cockroach, you know? That's what he is.
I didn't treat... We're best pals.
What can I tell the King of Roaches?
Oh, yeah, so... Perhaps an escape plane would be helpful.
Mm-hmm. Do you or Dawn know how to fly?
I mean, Back in the day, I took a few lessons on a prop plane. I never finished the course.
Brian, could you carry Dawn on your back?
Like, actually fly? Probably.
Yeah. Why did you wait 2 weeks to do that?
Where would we go? The jungle? I can be okay in the jungle. I didn't think Dawn would. She's a city girl.
How far can you fly?
Oh, I fly really slow. Have you ever noticed when I'm flying? I'm like cruising at maybe the kind of speeds you'd go through. Probably faster than a school zone, but not quite up to the normal basic speed limit of a car. I am not very aerodynamic when I'm a giant cockroach monster, may I note to you.
Sure. Just a moment.
Sure.
Hey,
Take
Eddie.
your time.
Hey, Eddie. Are you boating all the way to New York, or were you planning on just going to LA?
Oh man, just LA. I was like, oh dude, LA's a rockin' place. I was thinking of picking up some new babes there. The failed model types, they think they're all like, gonna be washed out, end up in some strange places. Don't worry, old Eddie's there to save them and bring them back into the fold of the Headmaster.
Perfect. By the way, you might want to stay out in the Pacific area for the next month or so.
Gotcha.
I hear there's going to be a shindig in Hawaii.
Oh, rock and roll. I don't like how it said rock and roll for him, but now I did.
All right.
The Headmaster's
Thank you
on
again.
for that. I don't know if his obnoxious voice is the same obnoxious voice I gave him last week, but now it's his new obnoxious voice.
That's fine. All right. Thanks again, Eddie.
I think I was a slightly more surfer dude. I'll have to remember that. Anyway.
If only we knew somebody who could fly.
God damn it. Why is the 18th theme stuck in my brain? It has been stuck in my brain for like weeks now.
I guess I could call Lars, see if he knows how to fly.
Nathan.
Or if he knows somebody.
What do you need a flying for?
Need to pick up someone in Brazil. And unfortunately, tickets aren't exactly easy to get at the moment.
I see what you're saying. Yeah, I think I got someone. You got a place for them? I can send a plane down for them. Something that's a little bit more under the radar. A little specialty of my own. It'll cost you a bit, but I'm sure we can put it on the
On the tab?
Mm-hmm.
All right. How much space would be in this plane?
A little bit of cargo probably too. Something for smuggling. I'd say not too big. It'll be prop too. Keep it under the radar.
Right. Leslie, I would call you, but you're currently in the Pacific Ocean on your way to LA.
They can enjoy their vacation in South America. It's fine. They can just chill there until I get to America and then fly out.
They'll be
Do you have
fine.
a plane?
We could just grab a plane. It's cheaper getting just the plane versus the plane and the pilot.
I mean, Lars has got a plane and a pilot.
Are you an expert in flying under the radar and across the ocean?
Hello, yes, I was a Cold War spy. How can I help you?
I'm gonna hack your plane out of the sky.
Bitch, please, this is purely analog.
I do not care.
By hack, he means he's gonna just take an axe and just like, just hit the plane.
You just stow away in the plane, then hack it apart from the inside.
Yeah, there you
I'll
go.
hack the GPS so you fly to Vietnam.
It's like you're like, there, now you don't know where you're going. You're going to Vietnam. Congratulations. What?
Young Samuel, have you ever heard
I'll
of
just
a,
don't worry. I can
map?
act as ECM.
No, I don't believe in maps.
No, you
only
don't believe in
Google
us, and thus they do not exist, of course.
Yep. Only
I
Google
see.
Maps, baby.
Truly, you are the most omnipotent being I've ever met.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'll have Lars.
You're having Lars
Yeah.
take care of it. That
Ask-
sounds good.
Ask if his guy knows a good spot that's safe-ish.
You'll hear him talk for a second. You know a good spot?
Is Rate gonna fly?
Yeah, on us toes less spots. Drisvesle, Mattel de Flyer.
All right. Well, I will pray that Ryan has been able to keep Dawn's phone charged.
So yes, so time will pass a little bit, just there'll be the scene of like something crazy's going on in the background, the plane's coming in, maybe there's gunfire or something, Dawn and Ryan come up with probably like bags full of maybe money or drugs or something, that they've embezzled from their criminal organization. The one door opens, it's Montez dans l'Avon, imbeciles, maladroits. And they'll be like, what? And they'll just be like, they get on the goddamn plane. Because, of course, neither of them are going to be great at that. Mm-hmm.
Tanda speaking French slowly murders my inner Canadian.
You're welcome. Montez, dans l'Avon, imbeciles, maladroits. Was that better?
No.
Yeah, overall no, but it's not Maldroits, it's Maldois.
A Maudois.
It's pronounced La Croix.
Uh-huh.
Shut up.
Look,
Yeah, a lot of times you don't pronounce
if you
the S.
pronounce if you pronounce any consonants, you're pronouncing French wrong.
No, there's a few.
I know.
I mean, I could just probably do this, and have Google, say it out.
Montez dans l'avion, imbécile maladroit.
There you go. There we go. That's what he says. Everybody on stream heard that. Look, I was only using this little bit of Google Translate. There was going to be no more. You don't have to worry about it, Lightning. They're not hanging out in France. If I had, entire conversations I'd have to worry about, it's just a couple of lines from a Rat Man.
So, once Leslie and Emil arrive in Los Angeles, there will be 2 garment bags and a driver waiting for them.
Okay.
Yes.
The thing is, it's the driver's got to have the sign out, and the names are spelled slightly wrong, but they are still Emil and Leslie.
Lessly.
Yeah. And
It's better than whatever that one individual called me back in Cuba or whatever.
Emil spelled with an A, so it's M-I-L.
Amil.
Yeah, Emil.
Or no, Ameel.
Yeah, Emil. Yep.
Ameal.
Yeah. Emil and There we go.
Lessly.
Lessly. Emil and Leslie.
That one even more.
Uh-huh. So there's a sign for Emil and Leslie there.
Right, I'm just going to assume that's me. It's not that
This person also has 2 garment bags slung over their shoulder.
Are you Misters Emil and Leslie?
Indeed.
I was to deliver these to you. What else do we have to
Hoping
do?
Drive us somewhere as well.
I am to be driving
Driving
you
him to the airport.
to the airport.
Wonderful.
Please come with me to your chauffeured vehicle.
Mhm.
Get in.
So,
Leslie, your garment bag contains a nice 3-piece suit.
Hell yes.
Emil, yours contains cargo pants and a t-shirt and I don't know, like a turtleneck or something. I don't know.
Hell yes.
you're both like, hell yeah. And you come out like looking spiff. You've been through the... Because probably the two of
You
you...
both come out looking completely different. And you're like, huh?
Yeah,
by
yeah. We
this
both like
point,
look in the back. Hell yeah! And we both like go into separate changing rooms, come out, and we're like, huh.
Because I'm sure like Eddie would have lent you some clothes, but they were not your style. Neither of you's. A lot of like,
Hawaiian shirts.
Hawaiian shirts and, shorts. And all he has is flip-flops. That's all he ever's in.
Polos with permanently popped collars.
Yep, there you go.
No matter how hard you try, you can't get it back down. It's actually reinforced with metal. There's a thin strip of it that keeps it permanently up.
Yep.
He needs to have the popped collar. It's important.
Oh, this feels good to be in proper clothing again. Not looking like one of those bloody California surfer boys.
Looking good, gentlemen. So, where's you from? Or, if we want, we can go about the small talks.
Let's skip the small talk.
Sounds good. I'll close up
I'm from
the...
New York.
Oh, I'm from New
Well,
York, too.
technically Chicago. Technically, I'm from Chicago, but I'm recently been living in New York.
Oh, I'm originally from New York. I moved out here for the acting gigs. Turns out, I enjoy chauffeuring much more. Should have probably just done it back home. Though, you get interesting stories from the rich and famous.
I continue to engage in small talk.
Okay. Mhm.
We'll just move
Leslie
on.
just looks at his phone.
All right. Yeah. So, oh god, it's probably sometime in April now, for sure. Like, you'll be getting into New York certainly when they're in the depths of their quarantine. And you will probably be quarantined for a few months. What is your plan over these next few months as things kind of open up in America, at least, eventually again?
Again. I mean,
You
I'm
do
gonna
have the
push-
you do have the power of private plane, which does avoid a lot of problems. But
Yes.
even so, you have to, and that doesn't mean you can't travel to places. It just means you'd have to worry about like arranging a quarantine right now for most nations.
yeah. So, I guess one thing that I'm kind of looking for, like putting feelers out, is for the painting of the Black Heart.
Okay. Give me a... Let me just check what I would want you to roll. I want you to roll a... I'm going to call this a wits, and let's call this... You can either use... Because it is art, I will either allow you to use a wits investigation or wits finance on this end.
Oh my goodness.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I think we know what that's going to be.
Yes. I'm assuming that the one you'd
Definitely
probably
the investigation.
definitely the investigation.
I mean, honestly, that's only one die less.
That's not too
All right. So you start probing into this piece of art. You have the title of it, and that's something that helps a lot. You begin to see that there is talk of a piece of art that was lost during World War II of that title.
Oh yeah, that's right. Probably held by Nazis.
It was.
Oh, hey, did Detective Gerhard Liebner get back to me?
He does get back to you.
Woohoo!
He gives you the original names of give me a second here because I didn't have the name here. Oh no, I want it to be. There we go. There we go. Sorry. He gives you a name of the Whitkey family. I'll put that in chat there. The last one that he can talk about is Klaus Whitkey. Now, Klaus, which is the only living relative he was able to find, is not a direct member of the Whitkey family. The Whitkey family were a wealthy Jewish family that were German. All the direct descendants were killed off of the original estate. Klaus, so I just, I chat too. Klaus is descended from a distant cousin. Unfortunately, because of how distant they were as a relative, he doesn't know what would have been lost during World War II. He would have claims on it, but if he doesn't know what was in the estate, it doesn't help. Or if he can't find what was in the estate at all, He did an investigation to attempt to recover some of the material. He did manage to recover 2 paintings, not the one you were looking for, just because of some records that were left over from that time period, from World War II. Both paintings, they're works of art. Are they worth all? They're not like your really expensive works of art. They're worth pretty decent. Probably go for kind of art that would go for between 10 to 20,000 kind of thing. 2 paintings recovered in Klaus's possession. Klaus has had no luck finding any other pieces of art, though. In a article that is about 20 from the 1910s. It actually talks about a event that was held at the manor of the Whitkey family, and that the reporter comments on that painting, The Heart of Darkness. It's a unique painting. The words they said was, they were supposedly written, they'll send you the article. It'll effectively say it was supposedly written by someone that was a friend of the family, or drawn by someone who was a friend of the family, who took who was known for expeditions into the African jungles, into the Congo. When asked, the Sir Whitkey at the time said that it was supposed to be of some kind of ruins that him and his expedition come across in an unmarked area of the jungle. He sketched them down, and then later on drew the piece of art from his memory. Unfortunately, they were behested by a group of local natives, forced to flee, and were never able to figure out where on the map. They had to run for days to escape from the natives who wanted them dead. Most of their group was killed. Only the artist and one other of the original party members and 2 of their porters remained alive. And the artist's name was It's got the umlaut. I think I can copy and paste umlaut if I use this here. That's not close enough. Yeah. I think.
Malkov doesn't have an umlaut in it, though.
Uh-huh. Mm-hmm. There. Sabine Holderlin was the original artist. He was unable to find anything about this woman, other than it was a woman.
And who was that?
She was the artist. She came along to be an artist on the expedition. So that's what she was for expedition. She was like the artist, you know.
So she was the family friend then?
Yes. She was the family friend who gave the picture then to the Whitkay family. No information on her or where she's from was able to be discovered.
Got it.
Going out onto the market and kind of looking into it, you can definitely see that there is a market into... let's just say there are shady painting markets out there. There are rumors of a painting that has a very similar description of yours having been on the market about a decade ago. That it was suggested someone who was living in South America sold it. And that, in fact, unfortunately, it's not perfectly exact. The information you were able to discover was someone who had been as part of a kind of telecommed online auction. You basically found who could tell you about this. The person that won was American and had a southern accent. And they went by the username in that auction of Mr. Blackwell. Not sure if that's a real name or a fake name. So, now you've got where the origin of the painting came from a little bit, and you got information about where it's ended up. You think. Again,
That's
like, the painting didn't have its exact name. That was what the closest description you could find that someone online you could contact with, you know?
Right. Is there an image of the painting that was sold?
The actual only image of the painting that was able to be found is one in that, in that old article. There's a picture of the party, and it's got the painting in the background. So you can see part of the painting. You get a general idea how it looks.
Okay.
It's not perfect.
Slightly better.
Yeah. Again, it's not
That's
perfect.
actually slightly better, because then we can confirm that something is
And it's
actually correct.
Yeah, and it's black and white, of course, the picture.
Right. Okay.
Because it's pre-World War I Germany. That was it.
Yeah. Okay. Well, yeah, aside from that, I'm probably going to be working mostly on talking to people about, wedding stuff,
Okay.
building my finances, preparing for a wedding.
Okay. Emil, what is your plan for a few months? We'll kind of go through the list and see what everybody's doing.
And you probably want to unmute too.
Yes, probably want to.
Yeah, I know. My brain was forgetting how to unmute for a second. Brain fart. Yes. So, I'm curious because I was technically in California. I would want to look into. I'd want to look into the Bunny the Nosferatu in San Francisco before I headed back to New York.
Oh, yeah. That was which...
That was the friend of Decker.
Yes. That's
In
right.
San
Bunny's
Francisco.
sire was friends with Decker's sire in San Francisco.
In San Francisco. So while you were in California, you would want to do that.
Yeah.
All right.
Before heading to New York.
Okay. So that's something definitely.
Unless Nathan was like, "No, come back." I'm not gonna.
I mean, because of the whole private plane thing, how difficult would it be to have a stopover in San Francisco?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All right. So yeah, you can definitely, head to San Francisco, easily. You weren't staying in LA long, so I doubt you had to do a lot in there. I'm just trying to get a little bit of information. Do you have it for me? Man, you got a billion tons of information here, and it's not helpful. Sorry, just trying to figure something out. Since you were going to San Francisco, I was trying to see if I could find the Prince of San Francisco or anything like that, or who's in charge of it very quickly. And apparently, the answer is no. Oh, here we go. I finally found the section of it. Great. So I don't think I have. Oh, here. Vannevar Thomas is the Prince of San Francisco. Okay. Oh no. Technically speaking, he just left San Francisco. I think someone, I'll just say like, insert name here because apparently this guy just became the Prince of LA in 2018. Thank you, thing, for, providing me great information. Oh boy. Am I frozen up?
Am I?
I think
it's
that's
DeSantis.
Santos.
It was me
I was
for
a
a
little
second.
concerned there for a second too.
It was me for a second for whatever reason. I don't know what that's going on
All
with
right.
that.
Sometimes the internet just is internet.
I think it's something on the computer. I think I gotta restart stuff again. I've been playing around with it, and I think it's just I gotta restart the computer. It's been doing it a few days or something, and I should do it a little bit more often. Okay.
Really be doing it and just shut it off when you go to bed. It takes 3 seconds.
It takes longer for it to load up, though. It takes minutes to a while to load. And usually I do stuff overnight, like what I've been doing lately overnight. I'll still sidetrack. I'll say that stuff. I've been doing stuff. Anyway, so yeah, you'll find out about a man named Julian Luna, who's the current Prince of San Francisco.
Okay.
He's a Ventrue.
I will.
Very business oriented. He'll you'll be very terse and be like, "What can I do you for bringing you to my city?"
I am looking for someone.
All right.
A Nosferatu named Bunny.
What information did you have about Bunny?
Well, I wanted he may have some information for me.
I believe there is a Nosferatu of that name in the city here, but whether or not you could reach them is a completely different matter. I could contact the current regent of the Nosferatu, Gregor, and see if he'd be willing to get you in contact with Bunny. That's the best I can do to assist you while you're here in my city.
That would be helpful.
Excellent. Welcome to San Francisco. I assume Leslie's there, unless Leslie wanted to go back on the plane, or like was hang on the plane.
Are we all just chilling in San Francisco, or?
Well, this would be you and Emil. Like, so up to you what you want.
Yeah,
to do.
I wanted to take a detour because I wanted to check this out while you're here.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, as long as it's not Sabat territory, I'm okay with setting that up.
It is currently Camarilla. At most, the Sabat have been having more. Actually, the San Francisco hasn't had trouble with the Sabat, and large trouble. Mostly LA has had some trouble with the Sabat. Hence why there have been changes in the Princeton and stuff like that. And currently, Van Ever Thomas just got control. He
Yep.
basically had, just again, like 2018 is when the switch happened, and Julian's been in charge since then.
Are we planning to meet up in San Fran, or?
I think the thought is for you guys to head back to New York then once you're done here. So,
Yeah, I've got stuff to do here.
yeah.
But I've got stuff to do in San Francisco, so I just wanted to take the detour since we're in California.
Yes. Emil would probably ask if he wouldn't mind a little bit of personal time in San Francisco. So Leslie, it's up to you if you want to assist Emil. Emil, it's up to you if you want to say like I can handle this on my own, or offer Leslie to go along with you.
It's up to Leslie. I'll give him the offer. If you want to come along, come along. If not, then you can head back to New York. I could probably get another plane.
Regardless, the plane isn't going back to New York because flying is expensive, especially when you need to grease palms.
Mm-hmm.
That's fair.
And what was it you were looking into?
The secret society my sire was a part of.
Well, if you need aid, I'll provide it, but I'd rather not get wrapped up in another secret society, something or other.
Understandable.
I
Alright.
guess I'm just gonna spend my time. I don't really have anything to do. I don't know, messing with the sword, even though it's not gonna do anything.
Yeah, that's fine. It's time to experiment with the swords more. You can figure some more stuff out. Give me. I just want you to roll me a. Perception occult.
Something I can actually do.
So
Make
we
it
took a little
difficulty.
detour.
Make it difficulty 9. Let me know. This is a difficult thing, so you might not be able to get anything right now. But I'll give you that. You might be able to pick up something.
Is this
from-
related to the Abyss at all?
No, it's related to the sword in particular. Okay. All right. I'll let you know what that means after we're done with the meal. Uh-huh.
Oh,
That's a good
I
roll.
just thought the only other thing I do is if I'm staying in San Fran for a while, I'll finally sit to have a portrait
Okay.
done.
All right.
So not like a big canvas, something I could easily get on a plane and take
Yeah.
back to wherever I'm staying.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you can't have pictures taken of you, so you have
Can't
to
have
have a
pictures
portrait done.
I literally have not seen what I look like in many, many years, and I've been wanting to get a portrait done for
Yeah.
a large part of this campaign.
And now you can get one. You've got some time, and there's plenty of artists in San Francisco. You can find someone that's fairly decent artist that won't charge you too much for it.
So I can see what I look like after a couple of decades.
Okay. So Emil, eventually, Gregor will contact you. You'll
So I
get
was
like
getting in contact with Gregor, who could get me in contact with Bunny. That was the idea.
theoretically.
Yeah. Okay.
You'll get a call, an anonymous call to your number. Answering it, you'll be like, "Is this Emil?
This is.
So, what do you want to talk to Bunny for?"
He has information about my sire, which I was looking into.
Ah. Can't ask the old man himself? Old lady?
Sadly, he is not around anymore.
Unfortunate. Alright, look. Bunny's a very private individual, but you got a name? Something I can pass along?
Okay, what was Did I get the name of Decker's sire, or sorry, Bunny's sire, or not?
No. At most,
Okay.
you could maybe use your sire's name, I guess?
Yeah, that's what I was gonna have to do.
Okay. All right.
But that's what I was gonna say. Just say the prodigy of Mark Decker wishes to contact him.
All right.
That's a word, prodigy, right?
Prodigy's a fine one.
Progeny. That's the word.
Progeny is, yeah, progeny.
Progeny. Yeah.
All right.
Thank you.
Okay. All right. So, it'll be actually a little later on that evening. You will be. I guess are you gonna like stay at a hotel room? What are you gonna do to kill time?
I can just stay in a hotel room.
Okay. All right. So you'll be staying in a hotel room, and then you'll kind of hear a voice out of nowhere. I hear you're looking for me.
Like probably a minor start from what I was like working on, and just hear yes, yes I am.
Ah. What does a decker want to do? Build a deck? Step upon
Well-
one? Walk this earth? You seek a question I may not have the answer for. But this bunny shall hop into your view and assist you. Toodly-doo. Kind of like almost like a crouched down. This kind of like scrawny figure, kind of with like very kind of shriveled, wrinkled like arms, wearing like a coat that's kind of been pushed back to like the sleeves to like reveal the arms and stuff. Kind of like a trench coat that's kind of ripped up at the bottom and kind of dragging on the ground, and kind of wearing this kind of creepy like rabbit mask. With kind of like, it looks like blood stains around the mouth of the mask, you know? And kind of cocked head sideways. Will kind of just appear next to you. About a few feet away.
Did I ever get the name of the organization my sire's a part of?
I don't think you did. You said it was a secret society. That was a connection of various elders working together for something.
We wanted to bring back like the worm or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Anyway, I have been recently informed of a secret organization of which I have membership, but I don't know anything about how to get in contact with those who may be members as well.
So you seek what has not been found. You seek to dive into the silence and wake them up. Find out what has been lost to you since your own blade drew its edge across your sire's neck.
Yes, in a manner of speaking.
Well. I could help you, that's for sure. I know many things and see many things and hear many things. I could speak them aloud or keep the secrets.
Well,
you think this merely is a courtesy? Well, perhaps it can be this time. But know this bunny remembers the courtesies he is given. And when I hop into view again, I expect the courtesies to be returned.
very well. I wasn't expecting this to go without I wasn't expecting this to be free, but well,
Money, no. This bunny has needs of many things, but monies, no. I will tell you
Oh,
when I come back into view.
I've been a vampire long enough to know that money generally isn't what you pay with. You tend to pay with favors and, well, usually
The group
favors.
you seek has many names. The one that they keep for those to hear is Order of the Silver Flame. Still, yet it be more than a lie than the truth. It is merely a facade to make people think that they are more like the societies of mortals past, and not like that of kindred blood. But do not worry. The name will still find them if you go looking and seeking. As for membership, yes, I feel like the responsibilities of the one named Decker are now yours. Whether or not they come a-calling to you and ring, ring, ring your bell, that is another thing entirely. I am not sure. But would you want to ring their bell and let them come? For either way, it will be a call to you, not a call to them. That's a warning from someone who is not, but yet, part of the secrets of the world. I see many things. This white rabbit will not lead an Alice down the rabbit hole. Not this day. Not because it would not be fun, but because of respect for connections past, and for one who is a child of Decker. So I warn you. There is danger, and I'm going to pause for a second to see if this phone call is actually important. Lou. No idea. Wow. I'll keep an eye out on that. It's actually important. Okay. Okay, thank you. Thank you for the warning. Yep. Bye. Sorry about the interruption, but it turns out that my niece has spread something in our kitchen that has made the floor slick, and we're not sure what it is. Which means if I would go down there and walk into the kitchen,
Oh, no.
I would probably slide on my ass if I was not warned there.
Oh no.
Mhm.
What did you? That's right.
With maybe
Take
soap?
butter and rub it on them.
I don't know.
Does she not know what it was?
She's not telling, and she's probably in trouble.
Okay.
Because she's probably doing her normal thing of like, I don't know about it.
Yeah.
Where was I? Oh god, that really interrupted my brain train of thought there. With like a
something about if I go looking.
oh yes.
Yeah.
When you ask the questions and seek the folks that could answer your predicament of being out on a lam, you are then involved. If you choose to stay back, then maybe you can take a little time before said involvement is in your cards. A warning. Avoid, if possible. Confront, if needed. And, as a watcher, perhaps keep an eye out for an opportunity to remove thyself from Deckard's obligations. For Deckard's obligations are based on Deckard, not one young Emil. And if Emil is held accountable for said obligations, well, it might just end tits up. Anyway, it has been nice chatting. I'm sure you may have other questions which I may not have answers for. If I do, I would not answer them. I've given you your hints. A name, A warning. This rabbit must go down his rabbit hole back into Wonderland and see the sights that must be seen. Alice, remain here on the surface. Do not follow me into the madness. And have yourself a fine day.
You too. Thank you.
Follow him.
And all of a sudden he's gone. Just disappears from sight.
What?
Yeah.
Obfuscate. Got it.
Yeah. Mhm. Lots of obfuscate. You're slightly used to it with Nathan, because he went on the obfuscate route, but it's still like a little disconcerting for like, just like
Yeah, it's like I know what it is, but it's still like I know he's invisible. He could still be just standing behind me, and I won't know.
Mm-hmm. Technically speaking, what you wouldn't see, which I'm saying out of game, is a tiny white rabbit is now hopping away somewhere while invisible thanks to obfuscate.
He's got it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, both Protean and Obfuscate.
And he specifically learned in Protean how to turn into a white rabbit, because
Which is
he
odd
is
for Nosferatu.
he is a Nosferatu that is insane.
Yeah.
Wait,
That's
he's
fair.
actually a Nosferatu?
He is actually a Nosferatu.
He seemed far more coherent than I've ever seen a Nosferatu.
What are you talking about?
No, you're thinking of Malkavians then.
We're
I
so
meant-
coherent.
I meant to say Malkavian, but
Yeah,
also,
you-
Nosferatu works too.
Yeah.
I'm gonna beat your.
Bring it, bitch!
I'm coherent. It's like I'm moherent.
Well,
Yeah.
I will- I'll
Look at me,
probably-
I'm so scared. I'm a Nosferatu.
Yeah,
Oh,
I'm a scary hacker, man. I'm gonna rob your grandma blind.
I'm positively shaken.
So I'm assuming
His
Emil-
grandma's dead.
Very, very dead.
I don't care. I'll rob your old friends.
They're also probably dead.
No, you've probably got some.
Not all of them.
Yeah, there's,
At least
there's
one.
probably at least one alive. You know,
Yeah, and
in their like
Hey,
90s.
it appears to be there's a virus on your computer, sir. Oh no, you accidentally sent me 2,000. Okay, so
I have a
accidentally sent you
computer?
2,000.
When did I get a computer? Did my grandchildren send me a computer again? I don't know.
Yeah,
what
they
this
set
does.
you up a bank account and you win $1 million.
Oh, $1 million. That's nice.
Uh-oh, I accidentally sent 10 million. You owe me $9 million now.
Oh, and I just give you back the 10 million.
Nope, you gotta send it. You gotta send it in the mail.
Oh, but I can't use my bank
Samuel,
accounts.
Samuel, the most wonderful news I heard, there's new housing opportunities in the abyss.
Yeah, I'll hack there too.
So, Emil, are you meeting up with Leslie and heading back to New York?
Yeah, I'll probably stick around for the night, and then the next night I'll head out.
Okay. All right. Well, why don't we take our break here, and then I'll see if Emil wants to do anything else during the interim, and then we'll do Samuel and Leslie and figure out what they're doing during this break period. As a craziest Nosferatu character has given Emil some information, but also kind of warning that you're not on the radar of your sire's cadre yet. Currently, because
Yes,
they're busy with
which is
something
actually-
else. Yeah.
Yeah.
But you could be, and you don't know when.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
I
Alright.
said more like they'll find it eventually rather than
They'll,
it's less an if rather than a when.
yeah. Eventually, they will need what your sire was going to do for them. That's it. That's the statement. Eventually, they'll need that. Anyway,
But
If
he
you-
did say it's also might be possible to remove myself from his obligations, which is interesting.
yeah. Didn't tell you how, but
No, he
most
didn't.
most cryptic madmen are like that. Yes, not
Yep.
just Malkavians can be mad. Any vampire can have a madness. You just have to take the flaw for it. And this Malkavian probably took lots of flaws for it. hmm
Yeah,
Anyway.
I'm just glad I was right. Wait, what was it? A
I mean,
Malkavian or Nosferatu?
no, I'm sorry, Nosferatu. This Nosferatu took the
Okay.
madnesses.
I'm just glad I was right and it's not a Malkavian, because I was sitting here going, that's way too coherent to be a Malkavian.
Actually,
He's
there are
batshit
No.
crazy, but he's,
No.
It's not.
there are some
Some of them are
Malkavians.
real crazy and very coherent.
Yeah.
And those are the really, really scary ones.
Yes. I think a good. I'll say it off stream here, but for now, drink, snack, bathroom break. Go ahead and take it. We'll be back in a little bit. Wimp. All right, welcome back. So, upon returning to New York, we kind of switch back to everybody's back there. We know what Nathan's doing now. Emil, is there anything you're doing in the interim of the next few months? Now we know what you did in San Francisco as a kind of side note. Stuff question. I can come back to you if you want time to think about it.
I'll be honest. I'm not sure yet.
Okay, then how about we go for Samuel? Samuel, what do you want to do now that you have a couple of months to kill in New York?
There's not a ton I can think of off the top of my, like, obviously I want to check in on my my pets.
Yeah.
And also my sewer.
Yeah,
you know, make sure I'm still in charge.
Yeah. Wick is leading some kind of active war against your terrible neighbor. Uniting the sewer rats against him.
Okay, how's the what's the neighbor up to? Is he like fighting back, or is he just annoyed by it mildly?
A little of both. Mostly annoyed. Probably like counterattacking, I would call it, more or less, rather than direct attacking.
All right, I'm gonna join in as like a general in Wick's army,
Okay.
but it's still Wick's still in charge.
Yeah, yes. Okay. It's like the escalating neighbors that have moved on from complaining about each other to accidentally breaking their fence or cutting a tree on their lawn. You've reached that level of your relationship.
I think I like the idea that I see that this is going on, and I'm so proud of Wick, and Wick's like, yeah, you want to join in? And I'm like, yeah, but you lead the charge.
Yeah, boss. Great. I'll do it. Where did you leave? I can't remember where you guys left Bitey. God. Good old Southern drawl.
Bitey's in Egypt, I think.
You just hang out in a hotel room.
Oh, poor Bitey.
Mm-hmm.
Wait, no, cause he was in the cave with us, cause we talked to him when we were talking to the gatekeeper man, and he wanted to eat him.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, you did have him in the afterlife, for reasons.
Yeah, would he have?
I guess he's with you then.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Got a new pet back in New York.
All right. Boss, trying to replace me with another small fuzzy rodent?
Oh,
No, he's one of your generals.
Bitey was that one.
Yeah, Bitey is the possum.
Yeah, not the crocodile.
I,
No.
for the life of me, could not remember your crocodile's name.
I don't either. It's kind of messed up that I don't. But
Oh, God. It's probably somewhere. I remember it wasn't a crocodile, it's a black cayman. We decided on that because no one would have understood that that's what it was. Everybody would be like, it's just a crocodile. That was funny. Yeah, no, I can't remember.
Yeah, I probably wrote it down somewhere, but it was back before I moved.
Yes. That sounds about right. Alright, so yeah, you can help unite and continue to harass your neighbor. He'll continue to swear vengeance, etc., against you as usual, as you will continue to reaffirm his hatred and wanting to eliminate you from the nearby sewers and take over them for himself, kind of thing. Usual. I guess if you think of anything else, let me know. I'll kind of rotate through people again. Leslie, was there anything else you want? Was there anything you wanted to do? I should say.
Other than the sword thing, no. Not that I can think of. The
Okay.
sword and the portrait.
All right.
Yeah,
hey.
what did he learn about the sword, by the way?
Yeah. Hey. You kind of had earlier figured out how to give the sword your blood, because you know that this sword particular uses the blood of the person wielding it. Unlike Aaron Karin, unlike Dracula's sword, because Dracula's sword was kind of like takes souls from others to feel, or energy from others to feel it. This one takes from you. I'll say you kind of like, I will have to give you a definition of how all these things work, but you did figure out a couple of abilities that it could do. For one thing, you can enhance the blade. Effectively make it a weapon that could be used to fight supernatural beings. Because remember, this thing...
Already that?
Yes, but what I mean is, like, it does extra levels of damage against things that are non-natural to the world, kind of thing. It normally does bad stuff to most things. We'll put it this way.
If I'm okay, so normally it's just aggravated damage to everything, but this would just boost its damage to supernatural things.
Yes, it would like do extra dices of damage.
Okay.
Yeah. So instead of doing like 2+ strength, it might do like 4+ strength or 5+ strength. Think of it that way. I mean, granted, it's still extra levels of possible aggravated damage you'd be doing to a target. Welcome back, Damien. Other things that you learned about it. You're fairly certain. You're not sure how it would work, but you think you created something akin to the way that you walk through shadows with the sword.
Okay.
That would require more looking into it. But that's something that you kind of figured out about it. That it was doing something very, like, spirit realm related, but you're not... That will require much more investigation to figure out how that works.
So basically, I now have several different ways to go. Omae wa mo shinderu.
Sure. Definitely. The last thing that you managed to do with the sword, which was a little unusual, is you figured out that you could create a familiar from it, feeling your own blood into it.
Okay.
You accidentally created some kind of, like, it looked like a almost shadowy demon bat.
Oh god, no! They're gonna think I have another baby.
I think like shadowy, like very dark colored. You know, not like made of shadows. It's very obviously different. You know.
Okay.
But like you were able to create it, and you are fairly certain you could like see through its eyes, kind of thing.
Neat.
Yeah. You're not sure if this thing could do more stuff, but it is like a basically legendary mystic artifact that was created in a powerful ritual combining the powers of like a dozen or so very powerful Koldoric sorcerers. So probably? It's probably got multiple cool powers in which you've like explored, I don't know, 3.
Okay.
Okay. Alright. Emil, did you think of anything that you wanted to do in the interim?
Yes, so I am going to just look into, as nonchalantly as possible, just my sire in general.
Okay.
Just kind of figure out more about his past.
I gotta do something here that'll mess with the video on stream, but I remembered something I have to click on. Now we click off of it because I did not have it open and it's got a note I need. Okay, so, a nonchalant look into your sire. It's definitely easy to look into your sire. That's something that I'm not going to say is difficult to do. The fact is, looking into it in such a way that you're not going to reveal information is going to be more difficult. I'm going to want...
I just okay, when I say nonchalant, I should clarify. Basically, the part I'm being nonchalant about is his connections to the society. basically, I'm not going to be upfront about that at all. I'm basically just going to go in, like, learning about my sire and seeing where that fits in with this, where that might fit in with the society.
Okay.
So it's more about finding information about my sire. I don't care if people find out about that.
Roll me a intelligence investigation then.
Okay. Difficulty?
I'm just gonna say, so you're just looking for something a little bit more general about it. I'll say 7. Okay. Because this is probably like calling and asking various people that, like, you know, might have been connected with your sire, or like you might have known him in things like Chicago or something. Because you do have a few connections probably left in Chicago, not many after the things were bridged. But it sounds like since the kind of blood hunt is sort of off of you from Chicago, it does mean you can kind of contact those people again. You'll kind of ask around a little bit and, like, kind of find out a little bit of information. You'll know that your sire was technically the, what's the proper term? Sorry, give me a second. I'm trying to forget terms that I should be able to know for, like, ranks within the organization you are.
Something I also already know about him is that, like, he was previously, like, the Prince of Wisconsin, but then he stopped doing that, and that went to someone else. I might also call people there.
Yes. You know, at the time of his passing away, he was the primogen of the gangrel in Chicago, meaning that he was effectively the head of all the Chicago gang. So that's one of the basically the prince has a council of primogen. That council, which are the leaders of, like, all the clans that are members of the Camarilla that are represented in the city. Sometimes you can get primogen from non-Camarilla clans if they're not members of the Camarilla, but effectively giving subservience to the Camarilla. Getting into the position of primogen still requires a level of respect. You will find out that your sire also was known for having a number of other roles within the organization. You know that he served as a sheriff for a while in not Chicago. What's the I'm blanking on the city name because wow, and I can't spell for crap. It's one of those days. Sorry. In St. Louis. That's the one I was thinking of. So down in Missouri, nearby. But this was probably over a century ago that was happened. You're not exactly sure when. You know that he's been involved in various matters within the Camarilla, and you know that he actually had an opportunity to become a gangrel Justicar. You'll find out. Which is effectively, the Justicars are the fronts of the Camarilla. Effectively, it's that little known secret that the Camarilla has a double government. It's got the actual leaders, and then it's got who are the Archons, and then it's got the Justicars, who are the face of the Camarilla. So there will be
It supposedly has Archons.
Yes. Uh-huh. I'm saying it's like one of those things that, you know, like, it's that kind of, like, it's the secret that like is still a secret, but actually kind of not a secret. That kind of thing, you know. Anyway, the Justicar are the members of the various Camarilla clans, which are front and forward. About 200 years ago, in the early days of America, he actually had an opportunity to become the Gangrel Justicar. All you knew is that it seems as though during the War of 1812, there was an attempt for the Sabbat tried something, and he basically countered them and defeated them. You weren't able to pick up the entire story. It's just that's the basics that's known. And at the same time, it said that he actually, because the Sabbat were actually using the British at that point in time for their attempts to, you know, to do their whatever dark evil plans they had, or anti-Camarilla plans, because I could call them evil plans, but technically you're both kind of evil. So I mean, that's like, you know, they're anti-Camarilla plans, and it happens that he assisted the Americans and probably helped, I can't remember all my War of 1812 battles, but name one of the battles that was important that Americans won. And on the shadow side of things, his work actually helped it out. You know, it's one of those things that like he helped a turnaround in a pretty major battle. The totally normal human plans were totally assisted by vampire plans. It just so happened that it's the age old. There's a war going on. There's two groups of vampires on either side of that war manipulating it. It happens a lot.
Sometimes it's even the Camarilla and the Sabbat.
Yes. Sometimes it's just between other clans. I mean, like, look what happened to frickin'... it was Sultan razed to the ground by Rome. Carthage. That was the Brugia city and the Ventrue city. They were dicks. Yeah.
Okay.
So, yes. So apparently, not only is your sire, like, as someone that was probably, like, born American, you're like, oh, my sire helped, help out America in the early days. Also, like, oh, my sire helped out doing vampire stuff in the early days. Got into a position where he was well known for. Turned down the position of Justicar. And then actually was known for going out into those settlements on the edge of America. That's where he ended up, like, things like the Sheriff of St. Louis, eventually. And, like, as America got settled fully, I mean, like, you knew him as, like, going into, like, these areas that were probably less settled of America. But he ended up in Chicago, towards the end there, as the prime ship. So, yeah, there you go.
Okay. Well, part of me thinks that interesting, because part of me thinks that the turn down of Justicar may mean that he was involved in this organization even since back then. The fact that he's been nominated and hasn't gotten or turned down so many positions mean he may have been part of this organization for a long time, although his opinions may have changed on the organization over time. That's another point which I'm not sure about. Interesting.
You do know he did not tell you about it. That's one of those things. He did not say
I know that
anything.
much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
no, I know. He didn't tell me anything. So I'm just trying to gauge, like, because he had so many potential positions but didn't get really any of them except towards the end, it makes me think that he may have been part of this organization for a while and only towards the end started to change his tune for one reason or another.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I know they nearly succeeded semi-recently, and maybe that's what turned him away from it.
Well, alright.
So those are my assumptions.
Yeah. Anybody doing anything else? We've kind of gotten a basic idea of what most folks are doing and kind of looking into, but like, as I've now hit up everybody a little bit here, I kind of want like does anybody else in the group have anything they want to do over a couple of months period as we kind of move towards June?
I'm gonna, keep looking into that picture. See if I can find anything more about it. I would also like to spend some time making deeper connections with Hawaii.
Okay.
And yeah, I'm gonna have Dawn help Candy find a dress.
She definitely will be able to that.
Sweet. And then I'm gonna work on building up that money.
Nice. Okay. Anybody else? Anything else?
Nothing I can think of.
Okay. Can you give me a wits finance? I'll say difficulty. What's your current resources at?
Current resources at 5.
At 5. Oh god, yeah, that's difficulty. Like 9. Then give me a wits finance difficulty 9.
All right.
Just give me that for a second. We'll see what. That's just something that I want to see what happens.
Okay.
Okay. You look into the finances. You kind of keep your business going. There isn't really any major growth in it. There's no any kind of shrinkage or anything like that. Your business is stable. Like, you know, it's...
I'm able to pay off all that stuff that I paid for last year.
Yes. There was a lot of stuff
Awesome.
that, you know, like, you had taken care of a lot of those other finances earlier. You know, this is like, you know, you kept everything going. The business was doing pretty well anyway from previous kind of checks. So, like, this one where you're not, like, you attempt some investments and they don't go well, but they don't go so badly that you're losing out. You know, your profit margin remains probably smaller than it would have been, you know, but it's not like you still have a profit margin kind of thing, like, you know.
Excellent.
Yeah. All right. I guess then we'll kind of skip ahead to when things are opening up again, at least for America, where you have the possibility of leaving. What is your plan as related to the information you gained in the Shadowlands?
I mean, I'm gonna have to get to Egypt again, right?
Well, looking at your notes, which I had to open up, is travel south, cross the strait of the land of ancient pretenders, where wasn't the first home of the children of Seth, deeper into the heart of life itself, all the way to the Great Lake. Then the sands near it, where the world divides.
Right.
That is the information that you are seeking out. And you know that Maquette is the one that's going to be in that area. Who can help you
Right.
find the place you seek there.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Specifically, the gift left behind by Malkov.
Yup. Well, how do you want to go about that?
I mean, is Egypt is the starting point, or do we not know what the starting point was? Because I thought she said, you know, travel south from where you were or something.
I think the implication was more travel south from where Malkov would have started. Mm-hmm. You're
Okay,
following
so we need to-
Malkov's trail, basically.
Got it. So we need to figure out where Malkov started.
You can safely guess one bit of information I will say. In the Egyptian / Middle East region, in that region there is around where the first and second cities were. That's an easy thing for
Right.
that you figured it out, you know. So you
Right.
know that most likely somewhere in that region is where he started.
Right.
I'll give you that much.
So we need to find a place where there's straits to the lands of ancient pretenders, children of Seth. It wasn't their first home, deeper into the heart of life itself, all the way to a great lake. Okay. Stupid Google Maps.
Yes, Google Maps.
The start point was where?
We
Middle-
start from where Malkov started, so we don't
Yeah.
really know.
Oh, so do we have anything to go off of?
You kind of do. You know that he crossed some kind of straits. Okay, that's the first thing he did. He passed through.
Straits, though.
You have to think about this was also ancient times. So he passed the straits into an area of what laws said were pretenders, children of Seth. So ancient pretenders, children of Seth. The children
Is
of
it
Seth.
just the Strait of Gibraltar?
It could just be the Strait of Gibraltar.
I mean, it's the most famous strait that I know of, and it.
How many
Children of
straits
Seth-
are there?
I don't know. Thing is, like I don't know the exact lands of the Children of Seth, but I'd guess Egypt. Granted, from Gibraltar, you'd be in Morocco, but you're close to Egypt-ish. You have to basically traverse.
Gibraltar feels
South
like it's
Africa,
a little
basically.
far away. Also, you have to
West.
consider that
Yeah.
this is thousands of years ago, so things might have looked a little different. You have to consider that too.
Leslie is looking up Straits of the World on his phone.
Okay.
Here's this one.
Near where the world divides might also help.
It could be the Strait of Hormuz. Major straits of the world. Separating two larger bodies of water. Does this count as a strait? No, that'd be a river. Almost. Do we know what the lands of the children of Set were?
Children of Seth, I think you figured out, are humans. So it had to be a human civilization.
Oh, Seth, not Set.
Yeah, Seth. If you want, someone could give me a what would I want to do this for hints? Because I don't want to like stump you.
Oh my goodness, there's a city in Turkey named Batman.
All right,
I
now
have heard of that. I think they also have like attempted to sue the people who made Batman, or I think was it vice versa. Something happened with that, but nothing really came of it.
Where the world divides, that has to be the equator. That or a major
it's-
canyon range, but
Either that or the space between continents, because way, 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 way back when, things were slightly closer together.
yeah, but all you really have is the two oceans, which don't fit.
There's also the Red Sea, and if you go south from there,
Yeah, but there's no. I mean, actually, there's a strait down here. This must be. Of course, it's probably called something. Yeah, it's the. Oh, I'm gonna butcher this. The Bab al Mandab Strait, which separates Yemen and
Djibouti.
Djibouti. Yes. Yep.
Uh-huh.
And then south, you've got.
Is there a history skill, or is it academics?
Could be academics.
If anybody wants to roll a Wits Academics 9, I'll give you a hint.
Sure.
Uh-huh.
Let me roll wits.
Uh-huh. Just a little hint that you could have
No.
figured out with your characters.
Academics 9. Intelligence academics?
Wits
Was
Academics.
it? Wits academics.
Yeah.
South and across the straits to the land of ancient pretenders.
There is a big lake in kind of Kenya and Tanzania.
Woo!
There's indeed big lakes in Kenya and Tanzania. Hey, yeah. You're thinking about something, and you're like thinking about like ancient man. You think maybe they're talking about ancient civilizations, because pretenders to the vampire civilization. And then
Ancient civilizations.
what
I mean,
was
I
like
thought of
the
that, but-
second ancient civilization?
I thought of that, but I don't see a fucking friggin'
I didn't think we were going to China.
no Babylon.
Babylon was
But I've already
technically
looked.
one. Babylon was one.
Who was
I
the
guess
fucking,
Mesopotamia?
That was one.
Yeah.
All right.
Good old
yeah,
Tigris
but
and
that just takes you back
Euphrates?
to Greece.
Okay.
No, it takes you to Iran.
Well, that-
Okay.
Or Iraq, sorry.
If I can safely correct that if my dates have changed, but as I recalled from some history classes that I might be misrecalling, again, brain farting at the time, and I will give you this, Emil. The Egyptian civilization, according to the way history looks at it and dates of like major historical developments as into like things that we can discover archaeologically, was slightly after Mesopotamian civilization.
Okay.
Yeah, Egypt was my
Okay.
first guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
that's
'cause,
where
I mean, if
we
you're
were
counting, if you're
initially
counting all of, like,
starting
if you're
off.
counting like Babylon and all of those as the first,
Also,
and Babylon and all those are the first, then Egypt
consider
would be the second.
that maybe there was something referred to a biblical flood at some point in time. What effects that would that have had on low-lying areas that could be flooded for many generations before the waters receded, leaving land?
Okay, so we go back to my initial guess, where it's the Strait of Gibraltar over to Egypt.
What? No.
Strait of Gibraltar's from...
Yeah, that's the only strait anywhere near Egypt that you'd have to cross by going south. The next closest strait is the Strait of Hormuz or whatever or not Hormuz, the Bab al Mandab, and that's
Or unless you're thinking the Suez Canal, but wasn't that created?
that
the
was
Suez
created.
Canal was created. But I'm saying it was created in
Yeah.
a low-lying area that maybe in ancient days was flooded into the Gulf of Suez.
I see. I see.
Okay.
Yeah, because
But that'd be west.
Southwest. Okay. You're fucking traveling southwest. Are you happy? They didn't describe.
No,
Generally
because you're still
south.
starting in Egypt and then you're moving into Israel.
No. Travel south, cross the straits to the land of ancient pretenders. So that's from
The
Israel-ish
from
Let's
the
just go to
to
Djibouti.
Egypt.
from the Middle Eastern area, head kind of southish across the Strait of Suez. That might have been a strait for a period of time post a biblical flood that there's like no evidence of an archaeological thing really very easily
Right.
that existed in
Deeper
this.
across that,
Yeah.
across the sands,
Uh-huh.
to a lake,
Uh-huh.
to a great lake.
To a Great Lake.
Well, the Great Lake, the greatest lake south of that
Mm-hmm.
is Lake Victoria.
Mm-hmm.
Way the fuck down there. What division is there near Lake Victoria?
It would fit my assumption that where the world splits is the equator, because the equator cuts through Lake Victoria.
That makes sense then. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And that leads, oh my god, and that leads back to the heart of life itself. God damn it.
I will tell you there is also another part of this clue that you might not be able to get because it's not on Google Maps.
The heart of life is the River Nile. It was referred to the heart of civilization because it allowed. I mean, Egypt was one of the first ones,
Well,
and the Nile River is the reason.
So was the Tigris and Euphrates, which formed Mesopotamia.
They were, but they weren't referred to as the heart of life the same way the Nile was.
Yeah, funny enough, Nile was the heart of life. The Fertile Crescent was the cradle of civilization.
Yeah.
Those are
Oh,
generally
fair.
the names they get. Yeah.
Okay. So does that mean that we're looking at the lakes that the Nile empties into?
I mean, you can follow it. I'm pretty sure all the way to Lake Victoria. Give me a second.
Technically, it splits into
Oh.
a bunch of estuaries, not really a lake itself, but
Nile.
It's close. Is this still a river? That is still a river. Yeah, the White Nile still keeps going, still keeps going, still keeps going. White Nile's still going. White Nile oh, thank you, Google Maps, for taking me back to my city. I definitely wanted that.
I
The
guess
White
on the
Nile does
eastern
eventually
side.
go to Lake Albert, which does eventually go to Lake Victoria.
Yeah, there's the Bahir Dishi Lake, the Kafasa Sea, the Bahir Malhala, something like that.
Okay.
There's a bunch of lakes on the
I don't.
east side, and then there is the Brussels Lake.
Okay.
You have to move
Uh,
into like Kenya, I think. Into like Nairobi or Garissa area, because it's not Lake Victoria itself; it's the sands near there, and the only options are either Kenya or Tanzania.
Come to Tanzania. Come to Tanzania.
But
It's also
like
just like the Gulf of Suez.
we get the rough area, but that's it. Sands near there, near where the world divides, deep in the ground is what you see. So even if we stay right on the equator, the
But
equator,
what
which-
we can look for is evidence of Malkov being an artisan there.
There's also the Great Bitter Lake, which is in the middle of the Suez Canal.
No, that's way too far away.
I'm pretty sure that's not it.
Yeah, I'm 90% sure it's Lake Victoria, and I'm pretty sure we need to go to Kenya. Because if you stay just on the equator and you're looking for sand on the equator anywhere near there, it's Kenya.
Yeah.
Specifically, yeah, around like Dadaab or Garissa area.
Okay, cool. So you got like an idea. It's like I want to give you another hint, but it's like hard to give you the hint because you're almost perfectly there, is what I can tell you.
Well, that's
Leslie
great.
roll anything based on what he thinks he's figured out.
Sure. Roll me do you have intelligence academics? You can roll that. Sure. Or unless if you want to look into Kenya, If you want to investigate it, I'll let you do intelligence investigation.
Ooh, I
So-
want to investigate.
Where-
Oh, yeah, I'm
what
doing
are
intelligence investigation. Absolutely.
Okay.
What are we basing this also, by the way? Because I kind of haven't been able to find in the notes where the actual thing.
Towards the top of the
reading
notes.
something.
Yeah. The
It's-
most recent stuff is I try to keep it all the way at the top.
Yeah, it's where
Yeah,
it's
So-
it's the area where Laws talks. So it's gave Laws 6 blood points, and then this talks into what she was kind of, or the information
Okay,
we got
yep.
after that. Yeah.
What difficulty?
To be honest, if you're just investigating Kenya and looking up stuff about it, I'm really only going to give you difficulty 6 for this one. I will give you this one. This is an easy one that like I think people are just not thinking of. Hey, there's also a place in Kenya called the Great Rift Valley that's a divide in continents.
Oh, well, excuse me, big voice in the sky, for not knowing the geography of Kenya.
I mean, I know that.
Yeah,
ever-
I am an American.
I
And
let's think
technically
it's like-
you are too.
Yes, but I
Leslie.
remember.
What the heck was that video?
Look, I knew you guys were on a really good right track for good reasons, but not all the right reasons.
Power thirst, there it is. I forgot to give my children power thirst, and I'm not aware of the geography of Kenya.
The power thirst.
You could run like Kenyans.
You can run like Kenyans, and they'll be faster than Kenyans, and they'll beat the Kenyans.
Mhm.
And they'll be deported to Kenya.
But yes, the Great Rift Valley, which separates out like the Indian plate, I think the Indian Ocean plate and the African plate, goes through there and has been there for thousands upon thousands of years because it moves incredibly slowly. So it is a big
God.
like valley that's been there.
The Great Rift is not even showing up on Google Maps.
It doesn't!
unless I-
That's why I like looked and I'm like, it's not showing up. I'm like, oh my god, I know it goes through there, but it's not showing up, and that's why I'm like, oh my god.
But you can search for Rift Valley and you'll find it.
Yeah, kind of.
Mantis.
It's 7,000 miles long too. I mean,
If I type in Great Rift Valley, it takes me to Ethiopia, not Kenya.
it's 7,000 miles long.
Yeah, but it travels like along the way. But it takes it to a single point for whatever reason. But yeah, it's technically
It is in Kenya too, because there's the Great Rift
See a
Valley
rift
in
on the
Kenya.
map, really.
It's not on the map, which sucks. That's why
No,
I'm
I mean,
like,
on a satellite view, I don't see a rift that I would assume is like.
yeah.
Yeah, but-
That's because it's a geologic rift, not like a.
I know. I'm
visible.
looking for basically mountains and valleys, and there's one I can kind of see, but it just peters out in Ethiopia.
It's like I'm trying to find where is it in Kenya? Do they pop it onto the map here? It goes from Lake Turkana south. It looks like there's many volcanoes and lakes in the Rift Valley. It says.
Okay. I mean, I see the area you're looking at.
Mhm.
Sort of.
It starts in Tanzania to the south and continues northward to Ethiopia.
I found this is the Great Rift Valley. That's probably the best image I have found for it so far.
They don't have great stuff.
Near where the world divides, deep in the ground is what you
Oh, here we go.
Where the world divides, though. It's not really a division of the world. I mean, granted, you're the DM, so
Well,
this is probably what it is.
The world dividing is probably because the plates are pulling apart.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you also have to consider it's, an ancient vampire who knows what about the goddamn world. You live enough long to watch it like, this seems to be getting wider after the last 2,000 years. That's weird, But other than that,
And so we need to do some archaeology in the ground there, is what I'm hearing.
yeah, well, I mean, okay.
All right.
You go to Lake Victoria and then out into Kenya. So it's Kenya. You've discovered you have to go to Kenya.
Also, the fun thing
Yeah.
about plate tectonics and what I know of them is like, oh look, here's this very consistent area where the plates look like they're doing something. Oh, and here's this place where they're doing the exact same thing, but you see nothing.
Uh-huh.
Yep.
Like
So
tectonics
so
are
right
together.
now, Leslie's saying we need to go to Kenya.
love them, but they're
And Nathan is saying, yes, I understand that you want to, but Kenya?
Oh yes, it's where they make the power first.
So, you probably want to go because it's more deserty. Actually, technically closer to Lake Turkana, because that's more the
that's what I was
deserty
thinking.
area. Because it goes through a lot of like more jungly area as the area goes down to Lake Naratan, and that's where the rift goes through. So that big lake, Lake Turkana, is actually like a filled-in lake as part of the rift. Part of it's flooded.
Yeah, great. So
Nick,
that's only 150, 200 miles worth of lake. You know, just
follow me here.
top to bottom.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry?
Follow me here for a moment. In
Okay.
Pretenders, they're probably referring to humanity. I mean, well, hell, children of Seth.
Right.
Empires that are around at that point, you've got, what, Babylon, Macedonia, and the Egyptians. So, you're not,
Right.
we don't really have many options to begin with. There's only, well, unless there's an empire that was raised from history, which is highly likely, but regardless.
Hours.
Well, yes. It could happen ours, it could happen anywhere. Anyway, not the point.
Sure.
Across the straits, as far as I'm aware, there's not a strait there. That could just be something that's been lost to time. But if we assume, I'm thinking Egypt to start with. It refers to the heart of life itself. Highly probable they're talking about the Nile River. Not
Right.
a guarantee, but a chance.
Makes sense.
And if we followed the Nile River down, we eventually reach a rather large lake. I believe it's the largest one in South Africa, which gets us to Lake Victoria. But
Correct.
we're still not done. We need sands near there, and specifically near where the world divides. And this is where I'm lost a bit. But if we just take the sands near there, it only gives us two options really. Tanzania and Kenya. And of the two, Kenya has far more in the way of sand. It at least gives us a starting point that we can go off of. The world dividing bit, I'm still not entirely sure. My assumption.
That's-
I'm going to run this as Leslie's assumption as well, because he doesn't freaking know about
Samuel, do you know anything about places where the world divide?
Other than the equator, that is my idea.
Can I roll for something that I might know of?
Sure.
All right. What should
So
I
I'm guessing
roll?
since
Should I
you're
roll?
younger, you did like
Intelligence.
normal grade school and
yeah.
middle
Intelligence
school, middle school.
Academics.
Intelligence academics. Yeah, I'm a schoolboy, or I was a schoolboy.
Boy,
Yeah, when I was in school, they probably didn't have like plate tectonics.
That's fair.
Okay.
Yeah, I was in school during the
Yeah, you remember from geology class, there was like a big like valley there, maybe like a divide between a couple continental plates. That's the closest thing to a divide in the area of Lake Victoria you can think of.
I'm surprised I remembered that.
Yeah, I don't know. You gotta.
Weird how this popped into your head randomly.
Uh-huh.
It's almost like gods were.
It's almost as if you had to spend a few minutes thinking about it, like quietly pondering it. You know, like, what can I remember from grade school days? As like your hand drifts over towards the computer keyboard to like Google it, you're like, no, I can remember this. Bad hand, bad, no.
I can get by on my own merits, thank you.
So yes, there you go.
All right. Are there any of those near Lake Victoria?
I'm assuming that's
Yes. The line going from, if you're looking indirectly in Kenya, there is an area that's kind of deserty, mountainy from... It's northwest of the Namiok Wildlife Conservative Trust. There isn't... I mean, like, you're probably going to be, like, 10 to 20 miles from some kind of civilization, because, again, like... I mean, that still can be a lot. But the divide leads up to Lake Turkana, and it heads south through Kenya down into Tanzania, where it ends. It keeps going north farther into Ethiopia too, but the closest deserty area would be the area slightly south of the lake.
Well, I was gonna say an easier way that Samuel might think of, because I don't know, techie and went to school when things were. Anyway, he might look up a map of tectonic plates.
Yeah, cool.
Which might show that there's a divergent plate between the Somali minor plate and the African major plate.
Yeah, there you go. Totally.
I'm also pretty sure there's a microplate somewhere in there.
Probably. I think
Because
there's,
the way this works makes no sense without one.
they mentioned 3 plates are in that entire area, and that's why it's a mess.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, there's the African plate, the Arabian plate, and the Somali plate.
Yeah.
Smalley, you got your own plate. Congratulations. Thanks. It doesn't help me. I don't know why I gave Somali that voice. Anyway, okay, look. Now we figured it out. Let's take our second break before I break even more. Because apparently, like, I was it's like I thought I was being clever, but I wasn't being clever. I was being too clever, maybe. I don't know.
My brain wasn't thinking plate tectonics.
It's
My
fun.
brain was also not thinking plate frickin' tectonics.
It's a literal like
Mine-
valley. Of
Mine
places.
was. I just
Well-
had no idea how we were supposed to look for it.
That's also
to be fair,
a
you're
problem.
also talking about Africa, which is probably the place that Americans are taught the least about.
That
I
can be an
think
accuracy.
That's
oh, no,
true.
You're not muted. Never mind.
All right, so drink, snack, bathroom break, anything like that you want, and we'll be back in a little bit here. So see you in a little bit, folks. Bamf. Bamf. I think we're all here. Hey, everybody, welcome back for our last, like half an hour about. All right, so you've discovered where you need to go for the next leg of your journey. What's the plan? Going there? Getting stuff
We
together?
know where we want to go,
Yes.
but can we?
Oh, boy.
But the question is, can ya?
Thank
I
you.
saw that joke coming as soon as Carpe was done. I'm like, someone's gonna make a bad Kenya joke, and I just knew it was gonna happen. And
That was the one I made when we first figured out we had to go to Kenya.
I know, but I forgot about that up until now. I forget about
Oh,
a
did
lot
you?
of things.
I forgot about it too.
I forget a lot of things, though. So, I mean, that's just me and forgetfulness. Anyway, so you're going to Kenya. Can you go to Kenya? Can.
And yeah.
I mean, I'm gonna guess. Probably the answer is an emphatic yes. There are probably a lot of issues at hand. A, are they going to be a super lockdown country? Probably not. Gonna be honest. I think Africa has done well, but I don't know how. I didn't hear about lockdowns in Africa as you do in like. They might have had them. I gotta be honest on that one.
Yeah, they were probably more like, based on
Mhm.
their own local governments and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Probably significantly less regulated.
Yeah. Uh. All right. Yeah. They had their own lockdowns, and if we want to say around July, they had a phased reopening. In July of last year, that's when they started opening things up. That would be the easier time to go there.
I think we're already past July, though.
Yeah, we're somewhere in we're
I thought you said we were spending months until June.
I said until June, but you can wait until July. Honestly, yeah.
Yeah.
What if we just massive time skip until 2021?
And things will still be closed.
Yes, and Candy will be on my ass about the wedding.
Yeah.
I think the world will have ended by then.
Probably.
You don't have a timer.
You don't have a timer. There's no apocalyptic thing on the front coming in your direction.
All right, I enter a deep sleep.
All right. When you wake up, everything's on fire.
Oh no.
Well, that was a thing that happened.
Yeah, no, that was me.
I mean, like, in June they started to ease up on some lockdown stuff. They weren't as locked down by June, but July is when I think they started really opening up a lot more. So, I mean, you probably could still make your way into Kenya. I'm assuming that it is definitely a country that a private plane with a few greased wheels could get into. Especially if you arrange for a quarantine period, you know.
You mean specifically like a quarantine where we don't interact with anyone outside of ourselves?
Yes.
Cool.
Mm-hmm.
Can we have a car waiting for us?
Sure.
All right. Does Ryan want to come along?
If you want me. Up to you on that end. I really gotta get like a...
How difficult would a party bus be? Or a top-end RV?
If you gave it a couple of weeks, you could probably arrange for something to be there. For like a top-end RV, certainly. Like a decent bus or RV, that's something that will probably have to be shipped in. Like one that actually is there, maybe.
Okay. Because what I'm thinking is,
Mm-hmm.
and hear me out,
Mm-hmm.
we will presumably need to eat at least once or twice.
Mm-hmm.
I'm thinking we have a bachelorette party.
Okay.
Okay.
For Candy. And she can bring a whole bunch of her friends.
I'll be the stripper.
No.
Quick and efficient.
Fastest shoot down.
I'm thinking Dawn or Leslie. I obviously will not be able to be part of that.
So it wouldn't be the first time.
I imagine as a spy you got up to a lot of shenanigans.
A lot of
Rather enjoyable ones.
parties.
Anyway, I figure if we bring along 5 or 6, we should be able to top up, so to speak.
Yeah. Yeah.
Thoughts?
Sure.
Why not? It's not like we have any better plans.
I was planning on being a stripper, but
Samuel, in all due respect, nobody wants to see that.
I
Uh,
mean,
is-
Say that in the
Does,
kindest way.
does this continue on the whole left side of your body, or is it just the face?
oh no, it's the entire half. Yeah.
Yes, see, I want
least
this to
sounds
be a
bad.
bachelorette party, not a bachelorette horror show. Sorry, Sam.
I'm sure someone out there would enjoy it.
Yeah, I'm a
Probably
themed
not one of
stripper.
Candy's friends.
It's a theme party.
Mm-hmm. I'm probably somewhere. Look, I gotta be honest. That's be like you're like horrible burn victim. What? I'm gonna stop before I go into there. That what the internet probably did there somewhere. I'm sure it's somewhere out there. I'm sure it's somewhere out there.
Yeah.
Gonna be honest.
Yeah, probably.
Cause it's the world.
Yeah, I'm gonna start the Samuel OnlyFans.
Yeah.
Yep.
Someone would probably pay for that.
Yeah.
Rule 34.
Anyway, okay, so you're arranging for a bachelorette party to Kenya?
Yep.
Okay. Alright, it's an interesting country to arrange that to.
Well, no, I can explain to Candy. I have a bit of business to take care of in Kenya.
Mm-hmm.
However, I know that travel isn't exactly easy at the moment, and since I will be going there, and I don't believe you've been, have you?
Oh, no.
Well, how would you like to have a bachelorette party on a party bus?
So you're saying like safari bus?
Sure.
That kind of does sound neat. Have like a bachelorette party that's a safari? We'd be seeing the big wild animals, checking out all that stuff.
That's right.
Fucking care.
Sure, you know what? Why not? I was thinking of something around here, but you know, I can grab. This is a little easier. I can grab into girls from some of the other places. You know, I don't have to just get the locals. We can maybe give some extra calls. Everybody get some quarantine.
Oh, yeah. We will effectively have minimal, if any, contact with most, if not all, Kenyans. Which means that our quarantine should be in effect when we arrive and as we're leaving.
Neat.
Mm-hmm. I figured you'd enjoy getting out of the country.
It's nice. We do have to visit home at some point in time. You know, I haven't been back to London town. It misses me deep in my heart. But, you know, I'm loving our new time in New York. It's been wonderful. But, you know, Nathan, honey, this sounds like a fine plan. I'll get some of the girls. We'll get on the bus. We'll get out there to get some safari. I'm sure you'll arrange something that's a little bit more tough than just a party bus. I'm sure of it. You know, something that's a little bit mix of bus and safari.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if there's if there's such a thing. I think you might have to like customize something there on that one.
I mean, I figure we'll have a panel van with blackout curtains for us to sleep in, and a roving party bus or safari car or cart or whatever for her to go out with. And plenty of alcohol and various foods and stuff.
Okay. Sounds like a plan. It'll take you a little bit to arrange, but it's not impossible. Definitely something that can be done. I guess it's your plan to head to the area of the Rift Valley that we kind of described. What's your plan when you get to Kenya exactly? Now that you can arrange the vehicle, you get a good excuse business-wise and on paper for why you're there. You're there. What are you doing?
Well, once we get there, I guess we should probably do some research beforehand to figure out where the heck Malvola, whatever the fuck's his name was, where he was.
Alright, the name you're looking for is Maquette.
Oh.
So, Maquette. You don't recognize the name. Got to be honest about that, first of all.
Oh, I didn't expect to.
Huh. Up to you how you want to go about trying to find someone. That's a good question. I can think of a couple of directions you can take for that, but I'll say it's up to you guys. If you want, like, a few suggestions, I can give you some vague answers that would lead you in a direction of looking for it. But I will give you the major hint of either the person is... This person is in the area, watching over things. They're either going to be hidden. That's not great for you to find it. That's just as difficult. Or they're going to be in the open. If they're in the open, they will have some form of other identity, most likely. The thing about the way Laws described it is, or not what it wasn't. Was it Laws or the other guy?
No, Laz told us about Maquette.
Okay. Oh, that's right. I'm sorry. I'm brain farting there. They can't. The Laws couldn't see them because they're high enough to power, but you will know that Maquette will watch over stuff. From the sound of it, Maquette will be in a position that will be probably hidden to your supernatural senses, but not perfectly hidden because they're watching the area. So I mean, that's in and of it, that is a hint. That's the thing, is that is a hint. They are findable. They will God damn it, like there's a little hair in my mouth. It's getting like on the tip of your tongue. They're probably not going to be in plain sight, but they will probably be there in the area. And honestly, the way Laws said it, you should be able to find them. That's the kind of thing. Or at least in an investigation, you should be able to. I don't know if that's helpful, what I said, at all. I gotta be honest on that one. I'm trying to think of a way to say this, and I'm not working very well.
Okay. Is it a role that we have to do?
You know
or
what?
Is it...
You know what? Someone just give me a... I'll take one of two rolls. Just to give you something that could help you. Just one of two rolls. If you're looking up, either you can try to look up stuff from the Maquette end, or to investigate the area of the valley. Let me know which one you want to do. I'll give one of two rolls.
I'll investigate the area of the valley.
Okay. Anybody else want to roll?
I'll check for the Maquette.
Okay, good to know. Those of you that are checking for the Maquette, it will be an intelligence occult difficulty 10. It is going to be difficulty 10. Those of you but that's giving you a lot more specific information. I'm going to tell you that. That's going to help a lot more.
You said intelligence occult?
Yes.
And what's the other option?
The other option, to look into the Great Rift Valley and the kind of people that might be in the area of the valley, I will say is a perception investigation, because you're trying to look for notes of things that could hint at you about someone that would watch that area or something in that area.
So fucking mad. So mad.
What's the difficulty on that one, Tempest?
Oh wow, it was 2 1s, 2 10s.
So mad.
I'm gonna give you
What's your specialty in intelligence?
Mine?
Mm-hmm.
Let me look. I think it's analytical. I didn't write what it was for. I think it's analytical though. So I've got
roll the 10s again. You technically can roll them again and see if you can get more successes. You won't get any failures on those if you roll once, but you can roll them.
oh, re-roll the 10s.
You are allowed to roll them again. Extra dice
Oh.
if you have your specialty.
Like if your specialty applies to the situation.
Does analytics apply to this? Analytical?
Sure, you're analyzing information, I guess.
Yeah,
I'm just
fair
gonna
enough.
give it to you.
I appreciate
The
that.
double 1, double 10 is like a ridiculous roll.
So just roll
Yeah.
two.
Yes,
Two
roll
for
Yeah.
difficulty 10.
Yeah, 2 for difficulty.
Just do
10.
2d10.
Ah.
Okay.
All right. What was the difficulty on the other one?
The perception investigation, I will say, is difficulty 8. Again, that's going to be a little bit more open in the information that you're going to be doing, though.
I think I have a better chance than the other one.
Mhm.
It was intelligence occult, right?
Yep.
All right.
Funny enough, I
Let's
actually
go.
think I had the same for both, but
Go ahead.
It turns out it's in Canada, actually.
I'll make note of information for there. That'll help for me in the future. Anyway, I'll save that. Emil, this is the thing you're going to find out. Whether or not there's someone that's necessarily hidden, there are people that investigate things that are in that area. It's not particularly a national park, but there's still wilderness in that area that occasionally you get people that patrol it to go against things like poachers. You're going to assume that probably whoever it is, probably not going to be... It's hard to say how like open they are on things, you know? They're probably scientists in the areas. Like scientists that study things more, and because that is like a mixture of like valleys and mountains and volcanoes and stuff too. So there are individuals that are in that area, that terrain. Because again, like from the area, if you're looking directly in kind of in the Rift Valley area, there's like a 10-mile on either side of nothingness that there is no villages and stuff, and then you do have some villages dotted and some roads dotted, but it does mean it's a very large area to investigate. No one theoretically lives in that area unless they're living out in the middle of nowhere.
okay. Yeah. So I guess I'll make a list of scientists that we can talk to, and then
Sure.
I'll also just maybe see if
There
we can
seems to
find
be
something odd.
if you look into it, because you did get your success, there seems to be 4 major projects going on right now. There's a wildlife study that's trying to study some wildlife that's in the more mountainous region that doesn't appear in the local wildlife refuge. So I'll just note these. Wildlife study. Volcano study. Just from university, and a geologist connected to company. There you go. Those are the 4 studies that are going on. The geologist connected to a company might be studying things for possible exploitation, question mark, you know, maybe mining, stuff like that. You're not sure. You know that it is a group of, like, a geologist. Each one has their own, like, leader of the group. The smallest group is probably the wildlife study, I gotta say, because it's, like, a professor and a couple of students in that one. There's a number of professors in the volcano study, and the company-funded geological study is probably the best of them all because it's funded by a company. Gotta be honest in that one. Have the most stuff. And the university geologist is probably in the middle.
Yeah. I don't know, I'll bring this to attention. So we've got some scientists prowling about in the area that might have some info. 2 geologist groups, someone studying volcanoes and some studying wildlife. Seems to be... we might be able to get some information about odd people, perhaps, if we're looking for this guy. We're looking for a guy, right?
Theoretically.
Or the... Yeah.
We're looking for Maquette.
Maquette. It's the name that doesn't help very much.
No. I thought we were looking for a Maquette. I thought wasn't Maquette? Isn't that Maquette a bloodline?
No. There might be a bloodline of similar name, but you're looking for a person named Maquette. I will note there are two other groups that you might want to look into, possibly. There's a group of, I'll call them wildlife patrols. They kind of go against kind of poachers, because again, that's the poachers in the national park. Bad enough. This is a region that's like these is like a little bit more of like locals and some people that live in the area that have united together. You're not sure of the entire membership list, though, but that's what it seems to be, a group of locals that patrol the area and help protect the wildlife of that region when they have some time to. There also seems to be a...
Oh, wait. Maquette is a... That's why I'm getting confused. Maquette is a bloodline in 2nd edition.
It might be... The names might be similar for reasons. They might not be. That's one of those things.
Anyway.
There's also supposed to be on the edge of the area, like, towards the south, where it gets into, like, there's some, like, roads and stuff of the southern part of the region there. There's supposed to be a cultural center there. You're not sure much about the cultural center. There wasn't a lot online, but you know it exists. So...
Yeah. My thoughts, so what are you thinking if we wanted to get information about some of the local areas or local oddities, potentially even local superstitions might be a good way to look for things.
Good question.
I'm more addressing the group in general.
I
just
know.
like- yeah, we could look
But
at
that's what, it's just like no one was ever to think of, like, they're like, I don't know. You know what? I'm going to say maybe that little bit of information is not a bad spot to lean off of. Unfortunately, none of you were able to find out anything about the name Maquette when it came to proper vampire lore. The name is lost to history. Who this person was, what they did. No one was able to find any even hints of it. And any, like, you know, stories or anything like that.
Should I ask Helena?
I can roll something for Helena. Let's see here. She doesn't know either. Damn it. She'll say, like, the name seems familiar, but I don't recall where I heard it from. Might have been a musician in Prague? No. Or was it an opera singer in Italy? I can't quite recall.
Alrighty.
Yep. As for the information that Emil found out, these are people that are in the area and have an eye on the area. These 6 groups. Either one of them is directly related to Maquette, or may have seen something that can hit you at Maquette. You don't know yet. But you have a place to go from. And maybe you can narrow it down, help some Dawn next time if Dawn's here. Or I can do something to help you narrow it down. We'll figure that out. I will attempt to figure out some way of a good narrowing it down, because since none of you had a good idea of which one to check out. We'll see. I'll let you guys make some guesses, and if I need to speed things up, I can always do that. Because I'm good that way. Usually. Anyway, yeah, we'll leave it off here. We had our downtime. I will say, yes, if you want to go ahead and spend EXP, I'll let you do that. You've had months off. You can spend it to level up things, even though I wasn't going to have you do it. Because this will be the last time before the end of the entire storyline you can do it. So, if anybody has that, figure out what you want to do, let me know. In the Legacies chat, what you leveled up and stuff at some point during this week. And if you need any advice on anything, just hit me up. Otherwise, I say we will continue next time. You know that you're going to Kenya. You know the area in Kenya. You got some leads in Kenya. You're better off than you were. You've gotten a good chunk of the way there. So, anyway, thanks everyone for joining us today. Let's give shout-outs. I'm going to go clockwise this time, so we'll start with Umber.
Hi, I'm here on Tuesdays at whatever time your personal area it is when we start, roughly 3 hours ago.
Indeed. And then we move on to Dunce.
Hey, I'm Dunce, or Dunk TV. You can find me at Dunk TV on Twitch and also YouTube. I post weekly on YouTube, and I try to stream at least once a week, but usually that doesn't happen.
And then we go to a Worm.
I'm Diamond Worm. You can find me on twitch.tv/DiamondWorm or at DiamondWorm on Twitter. I stream. I've been narrowing down a time, and I seem to be most able to get myself to stream on Thursdays at around 11:30 Pacific time. That would be 2:30 Eastern.
Okay. And Carpet.
That time when you're supposed to go to the dentist.
Dentist?
Yeah. At 2:30.
Oh.
I had to get it at least once.
You, even without seeing Umber, you can tell the kind of like visible, like, you know, the pain on his face and like the hands just into it. Yeah, just you can tell it. Anyway, Carpe, what do you got?
It's mandatory.
I am trying desperately to figure out how to get my streaming to work properly so that I can start streaming these. Well, not these games, obviously. These are Tantus's baby, but my own games over on twitch.tv/thecarpediem. You can see it in the chat, probably.
Like he said, boo. Thank you for the wire back. Tantus Venjakoven, you can find me here most days. If you're looking for RPG stuff, Thursdays at 8 p.m. EST for Children of Wrath, the D&D Meets Magic the Gathering game. I do have Discussing Tabletops Saturdays at 2 most weeks. Guest hosts right now. We talk about tabletop Mondays around 2-ish. That day's a little up in the air for Records of Evil just because of some of the issues we've got. But, you know, check for Twitter and Discord for announcements on that one. That's a Lawful Evil D&D game set in modern-day Faerun. And, of course, this game starting at 2 p.m. EST every Tuesday. And then I stream something like Stardew and other various video games in between occasionally here and there. No set schedule on that. Depends on when I'm awake and I have nothing else to do. These are important factors. When I'm not busy and I'm awake, I can do things. Anyway, everybody, I hope you had a great time and a great day. I hope the rest of your day is good and you stay sane and healthy. Oh, if you're checking out, I have later on this evening at 8:30 p.m. on the Unfunny Ones channel. I'm in a Star Trek game on that channel. Check that out if you want to see me play some Star Trek Adventures. And I guess that's everything I can remember that I should shout out to people. So for now, farewell. Bye, everybody.
Bye.